Good morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner with daily technical update. It is Friday the 14th of March and I do apologize about my voice. I have a little thing in my throat at the moment for some strange reasons, but that's how it is. So I hope you can hear what I'm saying. I might cough a little bit from time to time. Today we'll start with Meta. Meta also hit by sell-off past few days. Excuse me. And yesterday it was just a few cents above support here at 584. And if it closes below that level, well, then there's room down to around 549. And the 200 moving average could be tested. I think here today maybe I could see aftermarket that it bounced a little bit, buyers coming in a little bit, and it will be interesting to see where we end the week. But a break below and a close below 584 could really fuel another sell-off. On the S&P 500, there's not really much support until around 5,400 area down here. We can see where we are back here in this area from September last year. Bearish trends and no divergence, indicating likely lower levels. But we can see here pre-market at least, but it's very early times, of course. We are up about 0.5%, indicated up a little bit of a bounce here. But let's see how long that can last. We have Nasdaq 100 that got beaten pretty bad yesterday, almost 2% after being down more than 2%. Close below support there at 19,294. In a bearish trend, there's a slight divergence, maybe it could be building up here, but we are in a very strong bearish trend. At one point we will see a counter trend, or not a counter trend, we will see a bounce, of course. Some buyers or speculators will come in and lift it and say, okay, it is a bit cheap now, so we'll try to bottom fish it. But let's see how that will go. Pre-market also about 0.5%, 0.7% up at the moment. And here we can see on the CFD future the dancing around the 19,283 support area. Dow Jones also got beaten yesterday below 41,000. Could look at 40,000, 40,200, where we have a bit of support here. Pre-market about 0.5% up also. So we could see maybe it will level off a little bit, but still be careful out there. It is really volatile times, and there's a lot of fear in the market. In this video, which is, by the way, I forgot to say that it is educational purpose only. There's no recommendation or advice whatsoever intended in this one. I might have a position in few of them, but I don't have any in the ones that I mentioned, and I don't think I will have at the moment. Let's have a look at Hang Seng. Hang Seng is moving against the trend, almost 2% up here in Asian session, and looks still quite strong. Bullish trends above 23,000. Could take out. Well, there is a little bit of a divergence building up. You can see the RSI declining. Market moved higher, but it as we can see here on the weekly, it looks fairly strong towards 25,000. But it's a little bit stressed at the moment. So maybe if the U.S. market gets hit a little bit more, then maybe they can't sustain the pressure in Asia. We have EURUSD 50. EURUSD 50 still above 5,285 support. RSI, and that's really important also, RSI is still positive sentiment despite having divergence. You can see RSI declined where the market moved higher. So we are in a stressed uptrend, but keep an eye on what's happening here at 5,285. Pre-market, it seems we are bouncing a little bit. You can see that the CFD / future tested support there 5,313, and if it can stay above that level, and also here you can see the RSI still in a positive sentiment, hasn't broken below 40 threshold. DAX Still holding on nicely above 22,148. Seems like money is flowing into European markets a little bit at least from the US. And here pre-market we are up a little bit, about 0.7% at the moment. There's still about an hour and a half until market opens when I record this video. Seems to be a correction time in euro dollar, which is not that surprising. After spiking to the 109.35 resistance, and we could still see it sliding back to around 108, maybe 107 and a quarter, where we have the 38.2 retracement and the 200 moving average. I still believe that we will push higher. Monday, I will see if we can do an update, a little bit longer term view, but I would like to see how the week ends. We have sterling dollar still trading just below 130, could also be hit by a little bit of correction before the resistance here at 130.5. There's some strong support here around 128, where we also have the 200 moving average. You can see it here. It's more or less flatlining at the moment, but it acts as a support. Euro sterling correction phase, trading around the 200 moving average, and it is a little bit frustrating at the moment because in the overall picture, well, we are in a bearish trend, but trying to turn that around. We have retraced 38.2. If it starts taking out that well, then we're looking at support here with the 55 moving average around 83.5, and possibly 61.8 retracement at 83.20. I wouldn't pay too much attention on the cloud at the moment when it's like that. So it could dip below and then bounce back above. But the RSI is still positive sentiment, and it will take a lot of selling pressure to push it back below 40. So I think we could see a bounce in euro sterling fairly short. Dollar yen bouncing, which we've been talking about, it could. And bouncing from the 147.20, it could test the upper falling trend line. I'm not quite sure we'll get all the way up to the 38.2 retracement, which will be quite a big correction, because if we're looking at the weekly chart, and that is key to what sometimes see. Still, we're dancing currently around the 148.65 now resistance. It was a strong support that it took out. Now it's trying to get back above. Let's see if it can actually stay above at the week. At the end of the week, excuse me, we can see the RSI testing the 40 threshold down here, and didn't close below, so it's still a little bit of a lifeline for the bulls, but I'm not quite sure it will stay that way for much longer. Euro yen, well, bounced a little bit, trying to get back above the 100 moving average and back above the 101.20 resistance there. But we have this top and reversal pattern. You can see bullish candle, indecisive candle, a doji one, where almost like a shooting star, and then a bearish candle. So that's like a top and reversal pattern. I think we will slide lower here in the coming days. But if it starts moving back above here at towards 162, and if it takes out 162 and the spike up there at 162.40, well, then there's room up to 165. The Aussie yen still dancing sideways in this, well, basically bearish trend, but with strong support here around 91.80. Kind of formed a double bottom. It hasn't been confirmed. It needs to break above 94.75 to confirm a double bottom with a potential up to around 97. If it takes out the 91.79 here, which was the lows, then there's room down to around 97 and 90. Sterling yen still trading sideways between 193.20 and down to 188.15. Aussie dollar, still the same, as I've been just repeating myself the past few weeks. Needs to take out 63.65 to the upside. Then I think we'll see a push towards 65 and 65.5 and 61.85 to the downside. Dollar Canada, Also sideways, it needs to break out, as we talked about for quite a few days. Just repeating myself here, 145.85 to the upside. I think it will happen because positive sentiment on the RSI, moving averages are rising, so I think it will happen eventually. But I need confirmation before it actually I do say something for sure. Sterling Canada, that has been a massive move the past month or so. It is a bit stressed. There's divergence on the RSI. You can see the RSI is leveling off here where the market moved higher. But there's no divergence, no sell-off coming in. But it is a little bit stressed, and we should see a correction. However, trust the trend. If I start taking out that candle I have highlighted there, the lows there at 185.88, and then I subtract a little bit, so 185.85, then I think we could see the correction kicking in. A correction that could take it down to around 183.75, 183.45. Euro Swiss, a little bit of corrective phase. There is divergence, as you will see. We had a higher close here than here, but the RSI was actually declining. So that's a little imbalance there. So maybe it can't keep up with that. So before I would do anything, I haven't done anything in Swiss franc at all. Whatever for me, I would wait for it to take out the peaks here just around 96.5, 96.50. If it takes out that, then I think we'll see a push up above 97. Other than that, I think we could see it sliding back lower to the 95 area. On dollar Swiss coming up here, still in this correction phase, small steps really. We should see a correction up to, I think, especially if you also see your dollar coming down, I think we will see also a correction here, bounce from the strong support there around 87.65 up to around 89.30 to the 61.8 retracement and 100 moving average, and then I think it will start sliding lower. If it takes out the lows here at 87.55, well, then there is potential down to around 86 level. The dollar index almost looks similar in a bouncing mode, and I think it could bounce up to 104.88, which is the 38.2 retracement of this sell-off there. Gold seems to have its eyes set on 3,000. We are just a few dollars below 2,994, and the RSI has broken back above its falling trend line here, and there should be potential. We have a bullish trend, a new bullish trend confirmed. I think we will hit 3,000 maybe before the weekend or early next week. We are back above that rising trend line. That's merely just a guideline, but there should be potential higher to 3,050 area. Expect a little bit of setback, but we are in a bullish trend, and I think we will push higher. On the silver also a strong move towards 34. Just a few pips from it, and I think we will see it pushing higher towards 35 here today and into next week. Bullish sentiment or positive sentiment. No divergence indicating likely higher levels. And on copper is very close to 500 or 5 there. You are just a few cents from it, 495.35, and the bullish trend looks almost similar to silver, above its falling trend line. And as I've shown many times before, copper in a bullish trend, I think it will take out these peaks here at just around 520. So a really strong move in copper also, and it seems to be headed for that. Of course, there will be setbacks, and you can see quite volatile at times, but we are in a strong bullish trend. This is not a recommendation or advice. This is just how the chart looks at the moment. Crude oil, WTI crude oil, we have here taking a breather at the moment, stepping sideways between 65 and 68, 69. And you can see tucked in between the support here, where it tried to kind of a little double bottom, but not really one. But anyway, if it takes out 68.42, then we could see a push up to 71, which is the 38.2 retracement, that level there. And we have Brent crude oil Also bouncing a little bit. Could correct up to 73, 78, but it is in a fairly bearish trend. If it takes out the lows here from last week, well, then we are looking at levels around $62. On the Eurogas, or Dutch TTF, also called, setting back after hitting the 61.8 retracement. And what I will do if I was trading gas, I will do this. I will add a horizontal line and say, okay, there seems to be some really strong interest there that we won't get above 43.68. So around that level, if it takes out that, well, then expect a push up to around 47, 47.30. But for now, it seems we are setting back and could slide back to 38 euros. The US nat gas setting back, trading around the 786 retracement, just around $4. Could bounce from it if we get a positive candle, then we could see a bounce up. But it could also very well slide back lower to the 375 support here. So a little bit uncertainty at the moment, especially after showing this top and reversal pattern. Moving on to yields in US 10-year Treasury yields, spiked a little bit higher yesterday, couldn't get above the 21 moving average, which is, we rarely look at that, but you should follow that too. You can see it highlighted there. Got rejected and still in this region around 430%. It is in a rebounding correction phase. Actually has a little bit of a bullish trend, higher high, higher low, higher high, but there's resistance up here at 440. So I will be very cautious at the moment. If it takes out that little spike down there, or bigger spike down at 415, then we could see 410 come under pressure. On the 2-year, excuse me, on the 2-year, well, still dancing sideways just below 4%, and it needs to really move up above 4% for a push higher towards 415. But at the moment, we are still in a bearish trend. There's no divergence on the RSI, so we could see lower levels on the US 2-year. On the European yields, EU 10-year, I had it Fibonacci from this massive move here. There was this big jump, and of course, it seems like we had a bit of a correction. Could push back down to 272, which is the 32.8 retracement of the entire strong move up there. If it takes out the peak at 294, then we are looking at 3%. But for now, I think we'll just get a correction down to maybe this area, and strong support around 265, because that's the gap area. We have this gap area here, and that will be key to what's in the coming weeks. If it takes out and starts to look at closing it, then we could see a total collapse, but I'm not quite sure that will actually occur. The UK 10-year setting back here, caught between 4.8 and 4.55. These two lines here, 4.59 and 4.8, are just below it. It need a breakout for direction. And finally, on cryptos, we have Bitcoin again, just dancing sideways. Breakout is required. Trying to get higher here overnight, but it didn't materialize. So it seems like it's in a waiting see position at the moment. There is still potential down to around 73,000, 350, but also could still push higher, but can't really get out of it. So we are in a bear trend, lower lows, lower high, lower lows and lower highs and so on. And we are in a bearish trend, and there is some divergence here. As you can see, RSI was lower here than here, but market was lower here. So we should see a bounce, but again, there's no must here. So it is a little bit indecisive. I'm not trading cryptos, so it is a little bit unpredictable because there's a lot of fear going on also. But I will look out for if it starts taking out that spike down there at 76,555. Then we are looking at levels around 73, 74,000. Ethereum, still same story, just above the 1755 support. If it takes out that, then we're looking at levels around 1500. It needs to get back above 2100 to really for us to see a counter trend. There is divergence on the RSI indicating an exhaustion of the trend. All right, that's all for today. Have a nice day and a nice weekend when you get to there. Talk to you again Monday.